pro-Trump YouTuber Tim Pool is seething after video of him along with Alex Jones and others basically talking about what's going to go on January 6th, going to the Capitol building. Yeah, he's seething after this video was shown during the January 6th committee hearings. I'm going to show you the relevant parts here with Tim Pool that were shown to the committee, and then we're going to go and we're going to talk about his response. Take a look.
Now Donald Trump is calling on his supporters to descend on Washington, D.C. January 6th. This could be Trump's last stand. And it's a time when he has specifically called on his supporters to arrive in D.C. That's something that may actually be the big push Trump supporters need to say, this is it. On that day, Trump says, show up for a protest, it's gonna be wild. And based on what we've already seen from the previous events, I think Trump is absolutely correct.
All right, so now, look, watching that, okay, it seems like he's almost pretty giddy about it, but that's just my interpretation of it. Now, he's saying, of course, oh, no, I'm not, now, what are you talking about? No, I'm not advocating for violence. I've never advocated for violence on January 6th. How dare you? How dare you? I'm a liberal. Tim Pool, liberal? No. He's a grifter that claims to be on the left while also agreeing with every single right-wing talking point there is. Now, of course, he responded to this. First, taking to his live stream, you're going to love the title of this video. I'm just going to show you the title here. Democrats, Jan 6 committee plays clip from Timcast. Tim Pool smeared with out-of-context lies. Showing you a video of the thing that he had said is taking him out of context and smearing him. Okay. Sure. Now, he also took out a whole article in Newsweek titled this, "The January 6th Committee Misrepresented Me." Oh, they did. Did they? They misrepresented you by showing video that you actually did. Oh, but they took it out of context. They didn't show the whole 30-minute video. And they showed me alongside of people like Alex Jones. And people that were actually calling for violence. I didn't do anything. Now, he wrote in this Newsweek article that Raskin showed a video of him simply reading out a news report that the protest was likely to happen, noting that Trump and his supporters viewed it as Trump's last stand and concurring with the president that was likely to get wild. And then asks, in what way is reporting the news the equivalent of promoting it? Well, I mean, you want to take it in context of the other things that you have said, the other things that you have supported when it comes to Trump. But look, nowhere in this clip he writes, Raskin played her even the full 30-minute long podcast did I ever encourage anyone to go to D.C., let alone to engage in any kind of violence or protest. But you don't have to go out there and explicitly call for it. Again, Trump can almost use or has attempted to use the same defense. I didn't actually call for it. No. I just said let's walk down to the Capitol. Let's march down to the Capitol, everybody. Give them hell. But what's interesting here, I'm going to show you another, I believe it's a tweet here, where he says, I'm planning on being in D.C. on January 6th. We're working on a way to do Timcast IRL live from D.C. during the event. Well, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. But, I don't encourage anyone to go there, though. Oh, no. In fact, I'm not going to engage in any sort of violence or protest. He said nowhere in the clip did I ever encourage anyone to go to D.C., let alone engage in any kind of violence or protest. But again, he was there. He also writes that not only that, but I barely qualify as a Trump supporter, saying, I did proudly vote for Trump in 2020. And I explained why I thought that he was the better option, given the choices. I proudly voted for Trump. He also wrote, I can certainly respect the desire to figure out how January 6th happened. how it got so bad, and then why our political climate continues to get worse. I can respect the demand to hold those who made it happen accountable. And then went on, of course, to say, now I want to also find out about the Black Lives Matter rioters. So what's funny is that he's like, well, of course I respect the January 6th committee. I mean, I just think that they completely went out and misrepresented me, and it was so incredibly unfair. And it just feels like that you're biased against me. Okay, well, here's Tim Pool last year talking about what his opinion on the January 6th committee.
The January 6th committee is a bunch of zombie lords. These people are overtly evil. They know they're evil. They want power. They crave and lust for it. They are demonic. And I mean that figuratively, not literally. What I mean is, deep within their souls is a rot. Their hearts are blackened, withered husks, humanity drained long ago. They would beat you over the head. These are the worst of the worst. There's a lot more of them in Congress.
But I respect people that are trying to get to the truth. Except that I think that they're also zombie lords that will beat you over the head. Huh. Oh, interesting. Now look, understand that what Tim Pool is doing here, okay? He's doing damage control. This is somebody that's been talking about civil war for years, okay? And again, he sits there and what he does is promote fear and division on his show. Points out all the reasons why America's falling apart. There's going to be a civil war. There's going to be a conflict between everyone else. This is why you got the woke SJWs on this side, and you got the dangerous Black Lives Matter rioters that are destroying all the cities. And, and somebody somewhere is going to do something about it. They're going to do something about it. Oh, but I don't actually promote violence. And I don't think violence is a good thing at all. Kyle Rittenhouse was absolutely right. But I don't actually think that, we should be any violence. We should do any violence, I abhor it. So this is, again, what he does. He's very, very careful to make sure not to get himself suspended from Twitter. Very important. And very, very careful to make sure that he doesn't get demonetized on YouTube. Because understand, what his model is grift. So, of course, you're not going to come out and unless he's incredibly stupid, and that maybe I missed a tweet or missed a video, because the guy does hours and hours of video a day, where he came out and said, okay, violence. Yeah, absolutely do violence. No. What he does, though, is sets it up. Very vague on some of this language that he talks about. But make sure to present news in such a way that is absolutely inflammatory, that will prod people into doing possible violent acts. Again, when he talked about Black Lives Matter, well, guess what? He had used a lot of tweets from Andy Ngo. Andy Ngo, of course, look, we know who that guy is. We know that he absolutely is just obsessed with Antifa, obsessed with lying about BLM, lying about all these groups, and claiming that they're the ones that are doing all the violence, while completely ignoring any of the violence done by right-wing groups. Again, right-wing groups in this country are responsible for the vast majority of violence. So, and again, going back to how he's careful about this, right? Because he has to be, because that gets in the way of his grift. All right. He says, well, I know there's going to be a civil war, but I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen. But if it does, I wouldn't be surprised, because look at all the horrible stuff you should be absolutely mad about. Look at how BLM are a little terrorist group. They're being terrorists. They're being terrorists. And by the way, the woke left-wing mob is coming for you, and you better protect yourself. But don't do violence, though. Don't do violence. What Tim Pool does is peddle in fear. And that's what he does. Being very careful, again, to attempt to appear neutral. He claimed to be a liberal, even though agreeing with all the right-wing talking points and giving massive cover to the far right, whitewashing it. And I believe he does that for money. I don't actually think he has a core set of beliefs. I think his beliefs are whatever gets me money, whatever gets me more of an audience. And it turns out that pandering to the far right is so much more easier and lucrative on YouTube than anything else.